Okay, hail to the new king. Captain Price has retaken his throne and will continue knocking out challengers if he can win this series, but it's going to be a tough one. He is up against Luvnest, so it's going to be a pretty fierce fight. The last time these two players met was on Crossing in the Woods, best of 3. And Captain Price did emerge victorious during that series. Luvnest was one of many challengers that Price managed to defeat. It is very patient, cautious defensive play style. Let's see if Luvnest is going to bring a different strategy to the table this time. Take another shot at Captain Price. See if he can make something happen. Captain Price has defeated 7 challengers. He's dethroned 1 king and won 1 power struggle. You don't get prize money for anything other than defeating challengers, though. And your score is calculated in challengers as well. So OMG Pop is still in the lead with 10 challengers defeated. Captain S. Price will need to defeat 3 challengers to tie things up with him. So this will be Captain Price's 8th challenger that he's attempted to take on as he holds the throne. And the map is Kolodny Ferma Summer, Oberkommando West vs. Soviets. Breakthrough Tactics has already been chosen by Captain Price, so he knows exactly what he's going to do. He has not modified his strategy at all. OMG Pop shut him down hard. OMG Pop never lost a series. He has never dropped a series. He simply gave up the throne after 10 challengers defeated. And if he ever attempts to retake the throne, who knows what might happen. Or we might see Luvnest ascend the throne after this series. So lots of possibilities up in the air after this game. Certainly, Captain Price wires off his cutoff as he always does. Folks Grenadiers working on the combat engineers over here on the strategic point. Conscript squad working their way into this house.
This is it. Mission accomplished. Command half track has been converted into the headquarters building. Take cover!
Just light engagements here initially. We are going to see Captain Price do his standard extremely early mechanized regiment HQ into fuel transfer. From there, he's going to get that quick flak half track out and Panzer Fusiliers to contend with conscript spam from Luvnest. And Luvnest is going with a 4 conscript opening before purchasing any upgrades. I suspect he'll go tier 2 at some point in one of these commanders. Gonna get himself an extra squad of combat engineers for some flamethrower / minesweeper utility on them. Might be thinking of teching up with them in his base as well, rather than having to retreat this squad off the field. Conscripts working on the south now. Captain Price does have to retreat away from the north with that Volksgrenadier squad. Sturmpio's working on the south VP. Conscripts making their way towards the south, work on the munitions and victory point as well. Pretty quiet opening, still 4 minutes into the game and only 1 engagement. There goes that combat engineer squad. Conscripts engaging these Sturm Pioneers here. Conscripts continue to work on the munitions point. There's the flamethrower and he's gone tier 1. That's a dangerous move against Mechanized Regiment headquarters. Captain Price always goes Mechanized Regiment headquarters into super quick flak half track. I wonder if this decision will pay off. If he chooses guards, it might, because guards with their PTRS are so much more viable now. If he gets a couple PTRSs thrown into that M3, might give him kind of a mobile unit to try and hunt down that flak half track if he catches it out of position, catches it on the move. I don't know. I'm curious to see how he's going to use that when it hits the field. He does have 1 flamethrower in his possession already. Captain Price making a cutoff maneuver here in the north. Conscripts defending this strategic point. Conscripts defending the fuel behind some of Price's sandbags. Volksgrenadiers also set up in green cover here, being very careful, very cautious. Nice cutoff. Will cut all Soviet resources from the north. South is falling into Soviet control, though. There is the flak half track rolling onto the field at the same time as the M3's second flamethrower also produced. They're going to hop into that scout car and see if they can get something done. Those Volksgrenadiers need to reposition to safety. They may be the M3's second target. Clearly going to go for this first. Try and wipe that on retreat. The squad's already quite wounded. I don't know if that's going to survive this. No crits from the first flame burst. 2 crits on the second. I think the rest of the squad might go down regardless of crits. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. It's going to be close. Flak half-track is not moving up to assist in this engagement. It went to the south instead. There it is. Barely secures the wipe. Had to expose himself to flak emplacement fire for a little bit right there, but he does get away. Flak half-track did not move to screen away that M3. Probably should have, and as a result, full squad goes down. Meanwhile, the engagement in the south goes to Price thanks to the flak half-track, but no squad wipes for Luvnest. Gets away with just a little health remaining. M3 is moving up to chase away some Volksgrenadiers right there. That could be another wipe. Oh, he can't chase though, not with that level of health. He thought about it. He thought about it. But it wasn't going to happen. He didn't have enough health to work with. Flak half-track got a couple bursts off on him as well. And he's going to pull back to safety for now. So 1 squad wipe for Luvnest, none for Price yet. Pretty good early play with that M3 flamethrower. Captain Price is about to get to his first 90 munitions. When he does, he will be faced with the decision Panzerschreck versus G43s. If he goes Panzerschreck, he'll be a little safer from the M3. If he goes G43s, he'll have a little more anti-infantry firepower for whatever Luvnest chooses to field, which in this case will be guards. Guards hitting the field. If he throws those in the M3, they may be a pretty serious threat to that flak half-track, especially if it takes engine damage from an AT grenade, which Luvnest has researched. Over here on the right side, Fusiliers are engaging conscripts. They're stuck in red cover though, so they're gonna be forced to retreat. Can't win that engagement. Volksgrenadiers set up in green cover will probably win against conscripts in red unless they toss a Molotov. Hasn't researched them though, so I think this engagement goes to Price. Drops 3 models on the approach. And there goes that engagement. Stern Pioneers moving up to support as well, should that squad of conscripts choose to engage. DP machine guns upgraded on the guards in that M3. And he's waiting for an opportunity to strike against that flak half-track, going for the engine damage from this flank, but Volksgrenadiers secure building control and provide vision of that advance. Conscripts in the south are forced to retreat by the Stern Pios down here, without dropping any models. 2 squads of infantry available to support as well. Wow! He tried to go in for the engine damage right there, but the full squad gets wiped, and that'll be the first squad lost by Luvnest. Got a little greedy right there. Didn't time the flank with any push from any other directions, and I think that squad went down a lot quicker than he was expecting it to. They clumped a little bit around, going around that corner. Ouch. Oh man, I hope that doesn't get wiped too. They'll take a pretty safe retreat path though. So unless the flamethrower bursts, they should be fine. Do get away clean. Almost go down though, jeez. Luvnest struggling. He's struggling a little bit. Losing that full conscript squad's not good. Losing this engagement for the south is not good. The M3 kind of doesn't know what to do because of the flak half-track. Again, Tier 1 doesn't really have very hard counters to the flak half-track, and Panzer Fusiliers are proving a little chunky, a little bit difficult for him to chew through with just conscripts, especially without Molotovs and his strongest unit. The PTRS and DP guards haven't engaged yet. They're just sitting in an M3, so he's not getting any return on that investment right now. Field Hospital upgraded by Luvnest. It's another big manpower expenditure, whereas Price is just going to keep throwing more units on the field, more Fusiliers. He's up to 3 now. Might replace his 1 lost squad of Volksgrenadiers next. He's also gone Tier 2 here in the base. Going to go Jagdpanzer as his next fuel purchase once he's got the 135 fuel that requires. And Price doing a pretty good job for victory point control. It's very important to hold 1 victory point as OKW for the early game, and any VPs that you can harass beyond that in the north or south of the map is just a nice bonus. And he doesn't have any pressure from field guns because of Luvnest's decision to go Tier 1. If he doesn't tech sideways to Tier 2 before teching up, he may struggle. Especially if he tries to stall for call-ins, which he might be doing. Nope, just built tier 3, I think. Tier 3 going up. So if he goes straight for the T-34, it's going to delay his call-ins, give him a tool with which to fight that thing, but it'll leave him weak once the Jagdpanzer hits the field. So he needs to exploit the window of opportunity he's going to have very quickly. Notice that Captain Price leaves himself incredibly vulnerable to a quick tank. Extremely vulnerable. He has no Rakettenwerfer, no anti-tank at all, no Panzerschreck, nothing. I don't even know if he's planted a single mine, so that T-34 will have total freedom to just drive right up and kill that flak half-track, which is completely undefended, even 10 minutes into the game. Possibly because Price is just immediately assuming stall for call-ins when he sees guard motor coordination, but he will be mistaken. I think that T-34 stands a good chance of catching him off guard, but I guess we'll find out. Panzer Fusiliers set up in green cover here. Conscripts in cover here. Volksgrenadiers continue to defend the munitions. These Fusiliers defending the victory point as well. The north and center have all been taken by Price briefly. Luvnest working to get the center back under his control now, but he's not going to play too much for victory points until his T-34 arrives, I think. Look at that very precise positioning of that flak half-track. Where it's placed, it can hit that green cover position. It can cover all approaches here. Very nice placement. Very precise. Luvnest making a full retreat while he prepares for his next big push. T-34 is in production now. Demo charge on the victory point.
Squad replenished.
Panzer Fusiliers moving to take control of strategic points here in the south. Luvnest needs to make his next big push count for a lot. The T-34 should be the exact thing he needs to turn this game back in his favor. And it looks like we're going to see a pretty nice minesweeper play there by Price. We'll spot that demo charge. Nicely spotted. Probably could have stood a little further away. Loses one model, but whatever. T-34 is on the field, and Captain Price has gotten really lazy about anti-tank. His Jagdpanzer will be available to be produced soon, but he's floating 850 manpower. He could have so easily made 2 Rakettenwerfers, planted a mine, at least 1 mine in his retreat path here. Fortunately, he's managed to collect Vet 1, which means he will be able to pop smoke, but without any protection against this, I don't know what he thinks he's going to be able to do to survive this. It's dead. It is guaranteed dead. No way he can survive this. Luvnest pushing with the PTRS guards. PTRS shot connects. It's going to go down any second. There it goes. AA half-track destroyed. Might pick up those Volksgrenadiers as a bonus if he can get past the smoke screen, which he cannot. Path is blocked, but the engagement is largely won. Here in the north, these infantry forces need to keep territory harassment going or move to reconnect with this engagement. Grenade toss on those conscripts doesn't do a whole lot right there. T-34 bullying Captain Price hard right now, taking advantage of that short window of opportunity before the Jagdpanzer arrives, which is going to be quite soon. I think that squad's going down. There it goes. These 2 squads will be in a little bit of danger too. Kind of walking straight into a T-34 with no anti-tank. I don't know what his plan is right there. T-34 is trying to wipe as many squads as it can pick up while he's still got the advantage here. If he lets his engine get damaged once that Jagdpanzer hits the field, that's a dead T-34 though. He needs to be very careful about kiting. There's the Jagdpanzer moving in hard. Anti-tank grenade could not be tossed, unfortunately. He doesn't have the munitions for it currently. M3 will be destroyed by the Jagdpanzer right there. T-34 does need to keep kiting. It's only 25 for the AT grenade actually, so he could pull that off. Panzer Fusiliers engaging conscripts on the left side will force them to retreat from their position in cover, and the T-34 will disengage after inflicting 5 kills. I think 1 squad wipe, a little infantry bleed, and the death, of course, of the flag half-track, so pretty good engagement for that T-34. And Captain Price is now healing up in the base, thinking about what he wants to do. Jagdpanzer's on the field, so he's got protection against the T-34. Once the call-ins arrive, he's going to be in danger, but by pressuring his opponent into going T-34, he's bought himself a lot of time before they do. Luvnest is going to hit 10 command points well before he has the 260 fuel. He needs to bring that in. And Price, operating pretty much solely on Fusiliers, is going to be trying to contend with guards. The freshly buffed guards are going to prove a little bit more difficult for infantry to deal with this patch, especially with DPs. They're going to be a serious problem. Fusiliers might get wiped right here. If they throw engine damage on that tank to make it somewhat vulnerable to the Jagdpanzer, but with 2 squads of guards available to support, nothing's going to happen. PTRS snipes him on retreat, and that's a full squad down. The T-34 is going to receive some repairs from the combat engineers there. Fusiliers on the flank of those guards trying to get some damage done. Price doesn't have a whole lot of infantry munitions to spare on repairs or grenades. Not a whole lot of munitions to spare on grenades. Trying to turn engagements in his favor, but he's going to toss one and force that retreat. Nice toss, forcing that guard squad to retreat. Only one left. They drop a DP. Jagdpanzer getting big hits. Its engine is still intact. The second squad of guards just retreated, and that T-34 has a damaged engine in front of the Jagd. I think it's going to go down. He maneuvers around behind. If the Jagdpanzer gets too aggressive and chases over a mine, the engagement might turn, but all combat engineer squads are retreating, which means no repairs. A DP machine gun has been dropped for those Panzer Fusiliers to recover. A squad of conscripts tries to get in range to damage the engine of the Jagdpanzer, and Price doesn't like the engagement. He just doesn't like it, and he's going to disengage. Even though he was one hit from destroying that T-34, he couldn't take it out, and it probably isn't worth risking his Jagdpanzer over. This is much more important to preserve than the T-34 is to kill. So if both tanks, for example, were to be destroyed, that would be a win for Luvnest, not for Captain Price. So it made sense for him to disengage there, playing it safe. If he took engine damage right there. I mean, we've seen him play a game in the past where he got engine damage from an AT grenade that destroyed his Jagdpanzer's engine, and then it died because there was nothing he could do about it. So he's not gonna make the same mistake twice. He's being very careful about that. Nice minesweeper play from Captain Price as usual, continuing to sweep up various mines, demo charges. We've seen him sweep so many. He's very good on the minesweeper positioning. Especially in that game versus Paul that lasted well over an hour. I think he swept up 7 demos in one game or something like that. Panzer Fusiliers at this range may or may not win. I'm honestly not sure. At this range, Panzer Fusiliers will easily win. Only one south-facing window here. Conscripts forced from the building. They also have a stolen DP, so that certainly helps. Price could probably salvage some wrecks. There's a wreck right there he could salvage. I think he could salvage that wreck. Get his fuel income going a little bit. Some salvage opportunities laying around the map that he doesn't seem to have remembered about. T-34 has been fully repaired and is going to move to re-engage. Luvnest now getting quite close to the fuel he needs for his call-in tanks. The Jagdpanzer is still alive, but the T-34 is also alive, which means Luvnest will have 3 medium tanks against 1 tank destroyer. And Captain Price still has no Raketenwerfers, and he's stopped floating manpower entirely as he's bleeding quite a lot in infantry engagements and just replacing his losses. Luvnest starting to float a little bit as he has field dominance with his tank and huge map control, and just generally engaging very nicely with guards in cover with their DP machine guns. They easily annihilate Panzer Fusiliers in open ground. There's no way you can win this engagement. Guards in green cover versus the Fusiliers in yellow. Just getting sniped left and right. I like that demo charge placement too. We'll see if Price manages to sweep that one up. Couple squads reinforcing here in the base. Conscripts taking control of this fuel point. Mines going down. T-34 hovering across the battlefield. Gonna make its way towards the center / north. Push away another squad. Maintain map control. He has total dominance with this thing. Even though there's a Jagdpanzer on the field, it's just sitting in the back right now. He's playing safe with it. I think he's getting the sense that T-34-85s are about to arrive, and he wants to have vision and knowledge of those without them bum rushing his Jagdpanzer. If he gets a little too aggressive with it, just going to be patient for now and try and work the victory points. But he is falling behind, 30 points behind. Not a huge deficit, honestly, but having lost total map control, if he starts getting triple capped kind of a lot, that lead's going to grow, and he needs to try to work to prevent that to the best of his ability. While he waits for his next big fuel purchase, which I honestly don't know what it's going to be. Yag Tiger doesn't make very much sense against guard motor coordination. Might just go for King Tiger or Panther at some point, but with this map control situation being what it is and his flak half track dead, that's not likely ever going to hit the field. He may just go with a second Jagdpanzer. I don't even know. Either way, Luvnest Collins are here, making their way to the front lines. Price still so weak in the anti-tank department, has no Panzerschrecks, no Raketenwerfers, nothing. I don't know what he's going to do to stop 3 T-34s from swarming him. I honestly feel that Luvnest probably could have just made T-34 76s and won this game. And it probably wasn't even necessary to wait for the call-ins, but either way, we're probably going to be looking at Captain Price getting shut down hard unless he can pull off some miraculous plays with AT grenades, mines, and his one Jagdpanzer. And I don't think he's even planted any mines. That's another thing about Captain Price is he doesn't seem to plant very many mines. Seems to be more of an afterthought in his strategy. T-34-85 will take engine damage right there. Guards moving up to engage. The Jagdpanzer is going to try and capitalize on that damaged engine T-34, but with 2 more T-34s on the field, it can only get so aggressive. Panzer Fusiliers moving up to spot for the Jagdpanzer. This one pulls down to the south and will activate self-repair for a very short time, get its engine repaired, no big deal. Jagdpanzer didn't get in range in time. The T-34-76 continues to engage here in the north and maintain a presence on that victory point to make sure that Captain Price remains triple capped for as long as possible. He's currently at 250 victory points and falling fast as he's lost control of all 3 VPs. And he is struggling to make plays anywhere on the map. Having lost so much map control, he's just getting outproduced. And he doesn't have the munitions to keep tossing these crappy anti-tank grenades either. That one didn't even do anything. Marked vehicle on the Jagdpanzer. Here comes the swarm. Look at that flank. T-34-76 came out of nowhere for this push. And that Jagdpanzer stood no chance. Just got wrecked. Those T-34s have barely even taken a scratch. I feel like Luvnest could seal the game right now if he wanted to. Doesn't even matter. CaptainSPrice knows there's no coming back from this. Pretty textbook play from Luvnest, hitting Captain Price hard in game 1. Short break, and we will jump into game 2.